Today is the 25th of July, 2012, and we are interviewing at the Armory Building in Bloomington, Illinois. Eugene Kessler is 88 years old, having been born on the 16th of April, 1924. My name is Rachel Park, and I'll be the interviewer.
Okay.
Gene, could you state for the record what war and branch of service you were in?
I was in the Air Force, World War II.
World War II. What was your rank?
I was tech sergeant or sergeant first class.
And where did you serve?
In Europe. Well, I was in England. You know, that's where we flew out of to France, you know, and then back and forth, you know. But I was really stationed in England, so.
And what was your job or assignment?
I was called aerial engineer. I was supposed to be able to do anything that happened to the plane while it was in the air. You know, I changed the gas from one place to the other, and I checked. I sat in the middle of the pilot and the co-pilot, and there was little fans and things that you had to distribute, you know, make it go up or go down, you know. And so I had to work those while he was taking off and while he was out of land, and you know. And then I had the top birds where I shot, but I was downstairs more than I was up there because he needed something, you know, the pilot needed something, and that's what I was supposed to do, was help him, you know.
Yeah.
I went two weeks to learn how to do things, you know.
Yeah.
And so that was all my job, you know. And if he or the pilot or the co-pilot got killed or broken or something, I was the only one that could help him land the plane, you know. And so it was a real bad plane because the spread of the winds wasn't long enough to get up and go, you know. And so they had to get up real fast to get off the ground, you know. And you had to land real fast too. So it was a dangerous plane, you know.
Wow.
But we made it all right, you know.
So were you awarded any medals or citations for this?
Yeah, I got pictures of them, but I didn't see when I was a prisoner of war. And so they thought that I was dead, you know, because they hadn't heard from me or nothing. And so they had my wife go to Jacksonville, Illinois, and the Army brought my medals and given them to her. See, that's them. But they don't say what they are, you know, they do.
I'm just put it right here real quick. Yeah.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. But,
that's quite a few there.
Yeah. Well, and that's not the ones that you get in the States. You know, you get a lot of little tiny ones that are not really medals. You get those little things, you know, but you don't get the full medal, you know. There, you want to take a picture of that? That's.
Is that your prisoner of war?
Uh-huh. I got my whole crew. That's the crew. That's the plane we flew, and then that's the crew, and this is just places where we were at in Germany.
So this up here is the crew, and
Yeah.
these are the places that you were. Well, thanks for bringing those.
Okay. Well, Cleo told us, said that anything he got, said it would help, you know, if he brought it, you know, and so I just brought those, you know. That's the only thing I had that was different, you know.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, We've got your story too. So you had a bunch of medals pictured there. What were they for specifically?
Well, some of them was for flying over there, and then some was being out of the country, you know, and stuff like that. But I don't know. They're not even on my report. You know, they're not even on there. But I wouldn't have got them if it hadn't been that they thought I was dead. You know, they don't give those out when you get out of service. They don't give them to you. You have to call in and get them sent later to you. But hardly anybody gets them. You know.
Yeah.
And so, but I wouldn't have got them hadn't been for my wife. You know, bringing it to me. You know. But
so you were a prisoner of war.
Uh-huh.
Where were you?
In Germany.
In
Germany, yeah. Uh-huh. And, they were not real bad. You know, the German people weren't real bad to you. You know, they just didn't have enough food to feed themselves, let alone feed thousands of prisoners, you know, that was there, you know. And so, but they tried, you know, they tried to do as good as they could, you know, and we lived through it, so it made it all right. Didn't have nobody die, you know, so.
How long were you held as a prisoner?
A year.
A year.
So I was taken just before World War II started, you know, the D-Day started. Yeah. And then I didn't get released until the war was almost over in Germany. It wasn't over in Japan, but it was in Germany, you know. Yeah. And that Patton, I don't know, he was a general, and he had tanks. He was in charge of all the tanks. Yeah. And he's the one that released us from where we were, you know. And then the Red Cross come through, and only they didn't come to us. They come to the officers, but they didn't come to the enlisted people at all, you know. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't the Red Cross's fault. It was just the people that was there, you know. It was their fault, you know. It wasn't the Red Cross, because they do a lot of good for a lot of people, you know, but they didn't do any good for us, you know. Yeah. But it's about all I can tell, I can think of.
Okay. Well, how did you get along okay with your fellow officers?
Oh, yeah.
Was there any tension between anybody?
No. There was the way they had you line after we got overseas. They had all the aerial engineers in one place, and all the radio men in another place, and all the pilots in that. So you weren't together, you know, except when you were flying. You didn't see each other except if you went to a show or something, you know, and see somebody. But you weren't together like in a person, you know. They didn't have one person that had the whole thing, you know. They had each one separate. So, but
did you keep a diary or anything like that?
No, I never even thought about it. You know, I was just worried about getting home. You know.
So were you able to keep in touch with your family?
No,
because you were a prisoner of war.
Yeah. Some people got letters, but my wife never got any of my. He was allowed to send three letters a month, and somewhere in the collateral, they took them and threw them away, I guess, because she never got one letter that I wrote, you know, and I was a little bit upset, you know, and the letters that she sent me, I never got either.
Huh.
See, and she sent me cigarettes and stuff like that. You know, she was allowed to, but they never did get to me. You
Huh.
know, the Germans or somebody stole them. You know,
Yeah.
and so, but
Yeah.
so the one time she knew I was after I got out of prison or out of World War II.
Mhm.
They sent us to France, and it was a big place, and they let you eat soft food, you know, for a week, you know, and then the next week you got to eat a little bit better food, you know, and it went 4 weeks like that,
Yeah.
and then by the last week, then you could eat whatever you wanted to, you know, and they had chocolate milks or milkshakes, you know. They had a whole big place there, and you could go in any time of the day and just say, I want 2 or 3, you know, or whatever, you know, and they wanted you to build back up, you know, because you couldn't tell how much you lost because everybody else looked the same,
Yeah.
you know, and so,
Yeah.
but I'm sure I lost quite a bit, you know,
Mhm.
but they didn't have anything else to worry about, so.
So there was trouble getting food when you were in the prisoner of war camp?
Yeah, yeah, real bad.
What did you eat when you were able to get food?
Uh, when I was in the camp, you mean?
Yeah.
I got in breakfast. You got one slice of bread, and they had we had a deck of cards, and you pulled cards to see which piece of bread you got.
Oh, wow.
You know.
Yeah.
And then for dinner, you got beans. There were the same thing as pinto beans over here. You know.
Okay.
And they had been messed around with, and they had little bugs and stuff in them, you know. And that's all you got for dinner, and then for supper you got one baked potato, and that was all you got for. But you still live, so you know.
Mm-hmm. Then once you got out of the prison, then you were able to get more food.
Oh yeah, that's when they brought you for that that for a whole month. They bed you just a little bit at a time, you know, until you got used to eating more food, you know. It would have killed you to eat regular stuff, you know, right away, you know. So they were smarter than we were. They knew what to do. But they give you milkshakes and stuff, you know, and a whole bunch of vitamins. It had a whole bunch in the hand, you know, and they'd give them to you every day, you know, and stuff. They wanted to build you up before they sent you home, you know. So
when you got out of the prisoner war camp, it wasn't difficult. Like they had plenty of supplies to go around.
Oh yeah, they had plenty. Yeah, it was in Paris, or not Paris, but close to Paris, you know, in France, and but they had plenty of food, and they had lots of beds and stuff, you know, and all. See, that was when we was in prison camp. They never changed your bed, and they never did anything, you know. And you had a little cup that looked like a coffee can, you know, about 2 pounds, and you took a bath with that. You know what? Somebody would have to scrub each other, you know. You'd have to scrub each other, and then take that, flip it on you until you got wet enough to be say you got a bath, you know. And then you had to eat out of the same thing.
Wow.
So you had to clean that out and eat out of that then.
Wow.
But that's all you had. And then they give you a fork and a knife and a spoon. And you had to hang on to that because you didn't get no more, you know.
Wow.
But no, I'm glad I was in that, because now I get a pension. See, from being a prisoner of war, you get a pension. And I didn't even know anything about it. they said they told you when you was released from, but they didn't. But anyway, but one of them is a special prisoner of war thing, and I'm not sure which one it is. Because it's this one right here.
Can I show it to the camera?
Yeah.
It's yeah. Yes. And that's the special one you got from being a prisoner of war?
Yeah, they after it's probably been 12 years, maybe somewhere around there, that they told you to come and pick it up, and we went to, there's a man that stays in this place here, and he's in charge of veterans things, anything that you have trouble with, he'll help you. Of course, Cleo will too, but he'll do it for everybody, and she's just for one bunch of people,
Yeah.
Anyway, he asked me when he gave me that, he said, "Are you getting a pension from them?" And I said, "I didn't even know you were supposed to,
Huh.
And he said, "Oh yeah." I said, "You got to get a pension." So he called Danville and got a hold of a man that's all he did was take care of prisoners of war, And so I went over there, and he said, "It'll take a while, but said you'll have to just come back and get a whole bunch of things done, And then said then they'll start paying you, It took me a month to get all the things done, And then they started paying me.
Well, good.
So that's what I said. I'm glad I was a prisoner. That really comes in handy now, Yeah.
So when you got out of your prisoner of war camp, was there any entertainment that came through? Did you see anybody?
Oh no.
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 What did you do to entertain yourself?
Just played poker and stuff like that. Until we run out of money.
Yeah, and then you can't play anymore.
But there was nothing for you to do. You could go to a show. They had a show. You could go see that. But there was nothing else that you could do.
Yeah. So when you were in the war camp, how did you guys entertain yourselves when you were in there?
Oh, they had I don't know what they call. It's a part of one of the things that we give money to all the time for keeping people. It's like the Red Cross, only it ain't the Red Cross. Do you know of another one? Anyway, they come and they give you basketballs, baseballs, and they give you all kind of instruments to play with, and they give us a whole bunch of things that I didn't use them because I can't play anything. So I slept most of the time. But anyway, then when we left, we just left all that stuff. You couldn't take it with you. But they were the only ones that did anything nice for us. I can't think what they call them, but they're here in town. They have those jackets that have something across it, but I don't know. It's kind of like a veteran's jacket, but it isn't a veteran's jacket. But they have something across there. And anyway, they helped us more than the Red Cross did. But like I said, you can't say the Red Cross did it because you don't know who was in charge of that over there.
Yeah. Did you have any other photos just while we're here that you wanted to
No.
share? How was that? Okay, good. You said you had pictures of the places that you'd been. What were those places?
Oh, I don't know where they
You
were.
don't know?
I just got pictures of them, but did I show you those?
Yeah, we
Then
we
on the
saw
other
that.
side, there's
Oh, there's
more.
one on the other side. Well, let me take a picture of that too, real quick. And these are all just places that you had been
Yeah. And
in Germany.
yeah.
So, do you remember the day when your service ended?
Yeah, I got it wrote down. October 30, 31, 45.
45. Where were you when it
In
was
St. Louis.
St. Louis?
Yeah, it's a, well, you know, someplace I wrote down. It's in Illinois, but Fort Scott.
Okay.
Scott Field is what it's called, yeah. But it's in Illinois, but it's right down around Missouri, so it looks like you're in Missouri, you know. But
So had the war ended at that point, or
no,
you just had
no,
fulfilled your service?
you got let out according to how many boats you had. They made, you know, different. I don't know how they added up how many boats was everything. You know, like if you had 10 boats or you had 20 boats, you got before the guy had 5 boats or something. You know, and that's the way they did it. You know, so but I don't know what they counted. You know, probably people that was overseas got out quicker than people that weren't over at all. You know, but.
Were there any others that were discharged with you as well, or was it just you?
Oh, no, there was a whole bunch, because,
Yeah.
there was I don't know how many hundreds of people was down there at Scout Field, you know, and they let people go, and then they paid for you to go home, you know, and all, but
Did you know anybody else who was discharged with you?
no, the only person I knew got killed in service, so
Mm-hmm.
he was in the Air Force, same as I was. He was flying the same plane. See, you had 6 planes flying. There was 2 here, and then there was 2 there, and then 2 on that side. And the 2 on this side was higher than this one, you know, and then this one was the one that was leading all 6 of you along. And we were down here, and he was right over there. And when you take a bomb run, there's so you're going for a certain target, you know, and when they have one person that's got a magnifying one of those glasses, you know, and he's the one that tells you he has the plane and everything. He's riding the plane, you know. At that time, planes not rode by the pilot, because this guy knows where he wants to go, and he moves the plane wherever he wants to go. But you can't get out of that. Say if it's 5 minutes or 6 minutes, or you can't move, you know. Before you could move up or down or this way or that, you know, trying to get out of flak, you know. But on this you couldn't move, because you had to make a bare line for what you was going to drop the bombs on, you know. And my buddy was sitting right up above us, and we hadn't dropped the bombs yet, and they got hit right in the middle of the plane, and it went up in through the plane, you know, and into where the bombs were, and just everything exploded all over the place, you know. There was none of them that got saved at all, you know. So I had to go tell his mother and dad, because we were real close. His mother and dad come down to where we were, you know, and all. And so I had to go tell him. I didn't tell him I saw him got killed. I just said, we don't know what happened to him, you know, because I didn't want to, you know, I'd tell somebody, you know, the real truth, you know. So I said, we don't know what happened to him. But they said, well, we never did hear from him. I said, well, a lot of people they haven't heard from, you know, and they were thinking about going clear over there to France, see if they could find him, you know, but they wouldn't have found him, of course, because he'd been dead, you know. But he was the first person I got acquainted with, you know, when I was in service. And we went to every place together, you know, and so we was always together all the way through. And then, you know, we got overseas while we was still in the same group, you know. So.
Did you meet anybody else when you were, make any other friends?
No, there wasn't. You know, you hated to make friends because they might get killed the next day, you know. And of course, he'd been my friend ever since we started, you know, so we just was more friendly than anybody else, you know. But because you never knew from one day to the next, you know, whether you'd come back from a plane or not, you know, because they could just blow up any time because it was shooting flak at you all the time, and you didn't know whether you was going to get hit or the person beside you get hit, or, you know. That's how we got knocked down, was we hit, the flak hit us and tore up one of our engines, and we couldn't fly clear across, so we just bailed out and let the plane just go by itself, you know, blow up, you know. But
so then, did you parachute to the ground?
That was the first time and the last time. They don't give you no branch of how to do it, you know. They just tell you there's a button. You pull that button. Oh, shoot. And it opened. So,
thank the Lord.
Yeah. Boy, there was a lot of Paris, or not Paris, but French people that they see a big plane come down, you know. Yeah. And they were out there the minute you unhooked that bra or thing away from you. They had it, and they was going to make dresses and stuff out. It was a monstrous thing, you know. It's wider than this here, you know, because it had to hold you so that you went down slower than.
Yeah.
But those girls knew what that was for, you know, and they'd get them right now. They didn't have no way of getting new clothes or nothing, you know, so they just make a dress or something out of those, you know.
Whatever you can get.
Yeah.
Huh? So then, when you came back from the war, did you resume a job that you'd had before, or did you start a new career, or what did you do?
No, they had a thing in, they would pay half of your salary if like I went to work for Kroger, and you worked to be a manager, and they would pay half of what you was going to make when you was a manager, and then the government would pay the other half. And you had 5 years, then you made a manager, you know, and then Kroger had to pay all of it then after 5 years, you know. And so I stayed with them for quite a while, and then I went, when I come to this town, I went with anyway, wasn't Kroger. Anyway, I went with another company, and Kroger moved you so much. I started in Jacksonville, and I hit every town between Jacksonville and Alton. I was in every one of them stores, you know, learning different things, you know, and stuff. And when I got to Alton, then there was 5 stores in Alton, a Kroger store. And they let me go around and manage one store every day, or, you know, different store. I managed 5 of them, you know, and then the manager got their day off, you know. And then, of course, I got Saturday and Sunday off. See, that was when you wasn't open on Sunday, you know, way back then. What the stores open on Sundays. But that's how I ended up with them. But,
So did you join a veterans organization when you came back?
no, not until I joined this one here, and that's the first one I joined. Yeah.
How long have you been with this one?
Probably 3 years. Not very long, you know.
What kinds of activities do you guys do?
My wife died 2 years ago, so I don't do nothing, you know. But we used to travel a lot, you know, and we took 2 boat rides, you know, with those big boats, you know. And then we went to Germany and went through all of the little towns the little countries that are in Germany, you know, or around Germany. And we spent three weeks there, you know. And but we just like to travel, you know. And we went from one coast to the other coast. We hit every state, you know, in the whole, So then we went to Canada and we went to Mexico. But that was when Mexico was nice, you know. It wasn't now. Wasn't now. Canada was a more expensive place that we went to.
Really?
Oh, yeah. All their stuff is lots higher than what ours was at that time, you know. But, and of course, the gasoline was terrible. It was about $5 way back, you know, and way back, you know. And that was when ours was about $1.50 or something, you know, and theirs was $5 there.
So, how would you say your service and the experiences you had have affected your life?
I think it was real good.
Yeah.
You know, I think I would have had better luck doing that than just not going to service at all, you know, and then starting doing something with, because we just married, and, you know, just being married, why you fight, and, you know, things don't get along just as good, you know. I was gone for 3 years, and so when I come back, we were more calmed down, you know, and things, and we never had no fights then from then on, you know. But I'm sure we would have if we'd have just been married and then I hadn't gone, you know. We'd have had fights, I know, you know, because we were too young. We was only 18 years when we married.
Did you know you were going into military service when you got
married? Yeah, we knew because everybody had to go, you know. It was well, they didn't ask you. You just had to go, you know. Only people that didn't go was like farmers, you know. They didn't have to go, and I think maybe some people that had different jobs in some organizations or something didn't have to go, but most everybody had to go, you know. But
So did your military experience influence your thinking about war or the military in general?
No, no, I didn't want to stay in. My brother stayed in 20 years.
Wow.
And then he come out, but you get a pension after 20 years, you know. But my wife didn't like them. She didn't like it at all. So we come out, you know.
So is there anything you'd like to add? Anything else you'd like to say before we're
I
through?
don't think so.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Okay.
Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.